Enot ka. Malalaoman, katotohanan ang sinasarigan. Inina ang bagong Radyo Ronda. DCKI Iriga Radyo Ronda. Ang maugmang kairiba. Madya na.
RPN Provincial Stations, DZBS Baguio, DYKB Bacolod, DXXX Zamboanga, DXKO Cagayan de Oro, DXDX General Santos, DYKC Cebu, DZKI Iriga, DXKD Dipolo, DXKS Surigao, DXKP Pagadian, DXKT Davao, at DZRL Bata. RPN Provincial Stations.
RPN Radio Philippines Network, Radyo Ronda, DZKI Iriga, member kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas.
DWIZ 882 at RPN Provincial Stations. Mas pinalakas.
That news was brought to you by ACS Manufacturing Corporation, ISO certified world-class quality.
ACS.
Ito ang 882 DWIZ. Noon hanggang ngayon, 73 taon nagbabalita ng tangkod ng tama. May tanong ka ba sa kalusugan mo? Marami ka na bang nakakausap na nagsasabing baka malala na ang sakit mo? May mga nalalaman ka ba sa social media na pareha sa nararamdaman mo at ngayon malala na ang sakit nila? Naku, ang dami nang namamatay sa maling akala. Eksperto dapat ang pinakikinggan mo. Tutukan ang DWIZ Manila at lahat ng DWIZ sa buong Pilipinas kasama ang social media ng DWIZ at manood syempre sa Aliw 23 Free TV. Manood, makinig at i-follow ang DOH Department of Health. Programang malaking help sa health. Kasama sina Maru Pahati Sarne at si Bragi Braganza. Kasama ang mga totoong eksperto para tama ang impormasyong makuha mo. DWIZ DOH Department of Health.
Okay, magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat and welcome to Department of Health. Isang magandang Tuesday po. Kamusta po kayo lahat and welcome po sa ating programang Department of Health and mapapanood at mapapakinggan kami via website www.dwiz882am.com at i-download po ang DWIZ app sa iOS at Android devices. DWIZ live din via DWIZ 882 Facebook page at YouTube channel na DWIZ. Ito po, ang topic po natin for today is about acupuncture. At sige, baba natin po ng konti ulit. Dahil yung mga katanungan ninyo about acupuncture, yes, you can send your questions to, ayan po, sa ating hotline. Okay, baba natin ng konti. Hotline natin, 8470-175-0254. Ulitin po natin, 8470-175-0254. At ang text line naman po natin, 0999-376-6768. Ayan. Okay, thank you very much. And tayo po ay mapapanood via test broadcast sa Digital Free TV na Aliw 23, sa Sky Cable Channel 72, TV Plus Channel 27 at GMA Afford the Box Channel 32. Available din po kami sa digital TV devices at TV receivers, mangyari lamang po na iscan ang inyong digital TVs at channel boxes upang mapanood ang Aliw 23. Okay, so katulad po na nabanggit natin, ang topic po natin for today ay tungkol po sa acupuncture. Ayan, alamin natin kung ano ba tong acupuncture na to at ano ba yung bisa nung mga pagtusok-tusok ng mga needles na yan sa ating mga nerves, sa ating mga muscles, at kung hanggang ano pong extent ang maitutulong sa atin ng acupuncture. So ang guest po natin for this afternoon ay si Vas Bismarck, isa pong acupuncturist. Tatawagin natin siya in a while. In the meantime po, punta muna tayo sa ating news segment po na Kanyusugan.
Mga balitang magandang malaman para sa kalusugan. Ito na ang Kanyusugan, DOH Health News.
Suicide awareness pinaigting sa mga eskwelahan sa Davao. Nagsagawa ang Davao City Government Philippine Mental Health Association at ang Department of Education ng seminar na may temang Closer Look at Suicide from Awareness to Action. Pangunahing objective nito ang magbigay ng karagdagang kaalaman, partikular na sa mga guro, kung sakaling maka-encounter sila ng estudyante na may suicidal tendency. Sa impormasyon na mula sa City Health Office, umabot na sa 53 kaso ng suicide ang naitala noong 2022, kung saan siyam na taong gulang ang pinakabatang biktima. Samantala mula Enero hanggang Abril ngayong taon, umabot na sa 29 na kaso ng nagsusuicide, kung saan 13 years old naman ang pinakabata. Ayon kay Dr. Luis Antonio Flores, head ng Mental Awareness Center sa Davao, karamihan ng mga biktima na suicide ay nakaka-experience ng mental health problems tulad ng severe depression at anxiety na hindi agad nabibigyan ng atensyon. Anya, kapag depressed ng isang tao, ang buong sistema ng katawan nito ay down, kung saan magiging ang mood nila ay unstable. Sinabi pa ni Dr. Flores na nagiging cause ng psychosis ang sobrang depression, kung saan dito na nagkaka-experience ang biktima ng hallucination na tila may nag-uutos dito na magpakamatay.
Kanyusugan, DOH Health News.
Nako, ang sad naman talaga ng ganyan pag meron kang siyempre mahal sa buhay or relative or family member na dumadaan sa depression. Diba? Tapos meron sila mga suicidal tendencies na hindi mo alam kung ano yung mga senyales na yan. Kaya ang galing din ng ginawa ng Davao City Government and Philippine Mental Health Association tsaka ng Department of Education na nagsama-sama silang tatlo upang magkaroon ng seminar sa mga, ang tawag Closer Look daw at Suicide. Dahil hindi natin malalaman dun sa mga tao na yan kung meron ba silang tendencies o wala. Siyempre, minsan pag nag-open up yung mga kasama natin na ganyan o kaibigan natin o mahal natin sa buhay, minsan sinasabi lang natin, kaya mo yan. Pero hindi natin alam na matindi talaga yung pinagdadaanan nun. So we need to watch out and learn kung ano po yung mga senyales niyan, yung mga sintomas sa mga tao, kung ano yung mga action nila, ano yung mga sinasabi nila, para maintindihan natin at hindi natin baliwalain at masuportahan natin yan. Okay, anyway, ang topic po natin for today is about acupuncture. Ready na ba si guest natin? Yes, it says here, Vas Bismarck. Welcome to Department of Health.
Hi, Braggy. Nice
Hey,
to
Vas,
be
how are
back
you?
here
Welcome
at
to the show.
Department of Health. I'm good.
Yan.
Actually, I was just listening into your topic kanina, no? So the discussion on depression is actually very interesting, quite pressing. So I'm also encountering quite a few patients who are undergoing depression as well.
Uh-oh.
So it's something that definitely I think needs to be addressed, and it could be discussed. And acupuncture is actually one of those modalities that addresses depression as well.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So, wait, let me just, yung introduction natin. Ano ba ang acupuncture, Vas? Para malaman ng ating mga tagapanood at nakikinig sa atin yan.
Sure. So acupuncture is a branch of traditional Chinese medicine.
Mm-hmm.
So it is one of the pillars of Chinese medicine, aside from Chinese herbs and Tai Chi, Qigong, Chinese exercises. So acupuncture is insertion of needles doon sa acupuncture points, which stimulates the body's own ability to heal itself.
Okay. So yun okay. How would one know na kailangan pala niya magpa-acupuncture or yung ailment or nararamdaman ng isang pasyente that can be treated by acupuncture? Hanggang saan ba yung extent niyan?
Overall, there's a wide range of illnesses and ailments that acupuncture can help with. So with traditional Chinese medicine, we actually address both the physical and mental factor of a person, and consider like even emotional or mood swings as symptoms that we can actually treat themselves. So we view it as something that actually affects and coexists together. So ibig sabihin, pag may problema sa katawan, normally it can actually reflect as an emotional symptom. And if there's an emotional symptom, it may manifest as a physical ailment.
Oo nga,
as well.
yeah. Pag minsan emotional ka, nagmamanifest yan sa katawan natin, di ba? Parang ganon.
Yes.
And minsan naman kung ano yung nararamdaman ng katawan natin, nagmamanifest naman sa ating mga emotions and sa mga mood swings and the way we think. So, you know, in both areas, pwede siyang ano ba ng acupuncture? Pwede siyang ma-treat?
Yes. So the way that the Chinese view it is that there is the yin and yang aspect of the body. So the yin aspect is your physical manifestation. So the yang aspect is your emotional manifestation. So parang yang energy is something that is a little bit more etherical. It is very intangible. No? So yin is something a little bit more material. So when you do acupuncture, you are treating the sick meridians inside a person's body. Now, the sick meridians manifest both the yin energy and the yang energy of the body. So it will affect both the physical and also the mental well-being of a person.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Okay, so ano ba naman yung approach niyo po dyan sa mga treatment and how many sessions do you typically recommend?
Case-to-case basis, depending on a person. When you see an acupuncturist, the normal things that you would hear is that for acute cases, it takes a few sessions, 1 to 5 sessions. Moderate cases may take about around mga 10 sessions. And then severe cases can take even up to 30 sessions or more.
Madami din
So
pala.
in these particular sessions, the intervals can vary. So in terms of prescription, some acupuncturists will recommend twice a week. And then in severe cases, you would have sessions even as often as every day or every other day.
Pwedeng alternate every other day. Naku, paano pag busy yung pasyente, hindi makaano, tapos traffic pa. Okay lang naman yun mag-skip ng mga days if they can't make it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Depends naman on the severity talaga. So like, let's say for example, like a stroke patient, diba? So it's not like they're fit to work right away. So during the period of their rehab, we can actually dedicate like a daily or even an every other day treatment until they get their body back.
Yes,
in terms
and they
of,
can have themselves
functionality.
scheduled. Saan ka pa pupunta? Alam, you can't go to work, you're not fit to work. So, syempre, sa klinik ka na lang. Okay. Yung mga needles, Vas, how will the needles be placed? And will I feel any pain or discomfort during the treatment habang nilalagay yung mga needles na yan?
So, during your treatment, so like there's 12 meridians inside the body. There's over 300 different acupuncture points that is used. Although every surface of the skin is a possible acupuncture point for pain. So in terms of placements, there's different sizes depending
Ng
on
needle?
where the needle. There's different sizes for the needles depending on where it needs to be inserted. So majority of the acupuncture points are actually just under the skin. So hindi ganun kalalim.
Hindi ganun
But
ka-deep.
there are some acupuncture points that are a little deeper, especially around the abdomen, around the legs, or in yung medyo mas malaman. There's also acupuncture points like on the buttocks itself. So you need a fairly large needle to reach them. But in most cases, when we do treatments, most treatments require puncture points just around the arms, the legs, or even the head. So depending yung ailment nila, most can be treated naman in fairly easy to access, and these are acupuncture points that don't require much depth. So mababaw lang siya. So yung size ng needle rin natin is not the same as your laboratory blood extraction. So most people actually are very afraid when they come for their first acupuncture session. Because their
natatakot sila?
association. Natatakot talaga sila. Tanong lagi nila is masakit pa yan. This is due partly because of their personal experience with most needles. So when you go to the hospital, you go to
takot sa
the lab
injection,
for a
ganun,
blood test. The injection or even the blood extraction is usually a lot bigger. So
medyo
acupuncture
traumatic nga
needles-
blood extraction. Pag nakita mo yung blood, tinatanggal sa'yo, medyo nangihina ka eh. Wow, parang
So acupuncture needles are 10, 15 times smaller. So it's only like a few strands of hair. Parang pinagdikit mo lang yung few strands of hair. And it's actually very, very
very,
hindi
very...
siya masakit. Very, very thin siya. Manipis siya.
Manipis
So
na.
hindi siya masakit.
Wait, let's go to our, meron tayong text line dito, coming from Maricel Soriano ng San Juan. Anong pinakamalalang sakit ang kayang pagalingin ng acupuncture?
Pinakamalala. Well, for me, the most effective ones, I guess, would be yung rehabilitation of stroke. So you could actually see, if you catch yung mga stroke patients within the first few months nila, right after stabilization, being released from the hospital, you can actually see yung progress in terms of getting their muscle functions back. So in terms of effectivity, like when you say kasi pinakamalalang sakit, I'm not sure in terms of what complexity she is looking for, but in terms of pain level, acupuncture is very, very effective for pain. So yung mga, I would say extreme pain is those who experience sciatica and also herniated discs. So I personally am a person who, I've actually gone through a ruptured disc na for myself. No? So you'd say like pumutok na yung disc ko sa in between my spinal and spinal fluid.
Nakakalakad pa ba yung mga ganong case?
Sa ganun cases, hirap talaga malakad. When I had mine, hindi ako makagalaw. As in, there is no position that is comfortable. So there is only pain and extreme pain.
Wait, did you experience that yourself?
Yeah, I actually had an injury back in 2010
Okay.
and in 2016 on the same area in my spine. So the first time around, it actually just herniated it. The second time around, it ruptured it. So yung pain scale ko noon is that hindi ako makalakad, hindi ako makaupo, hindi rin ako makahiga, hindi rin ako makatulog. So there is no position that is comfortable. So sobrang lala. And I would say like, in terms of relief and management, what really is difficult for people who are undergoing pain, because the recommendation is to strengthen the muscle. But how do you strengthen the muscle when you can't move? So ang ano dyan is, this is where acupuncture comes in and helps. So it allows you moments and like intervals, for a few days to be able to move without pain. So parang there is a relief from the pain. And this is where you have yung tandem nga ng acupuncture and physical therapy where it actually meets. So acupuncture is like the grease to the squeaky door, and then the movement from PT and strengthening is actually what strengthens the body.
So parang you're saying, pag nagpa-acupuncture ka, there should be also therapy involved?
There has to be therapy involved because acupuncture on its own will just stimulate the movement of qi, blood, and fluids into the area. So it induces healing, but it will not strengthen muscle. So the person still has to do necessary exercises in order to strengthen a weak muscle. Because that's what injury does.
Parang case-to-case basis nga. It depends kung, what you feel and what, body part na kailangan ipatingin sa isang acupuncturist. So how were you able to manage that? Nagkaroon ka nung, is that sciatica problem? And then, paano mo na-enter yung mga needles nasa likod?
Actually, when it comes to acupuncture, you don't have to puncture the problem area specifically.
Directly.
So, parang, it's not a direct application. So if you have a problem on your shoulder or on your back, it's not the shoulder or the back that needs to be punctured.
Hindi mismo dun sa area na yun.
So there's a distal point for every part of the body. You can treat the back with the arm. You can treat it with the legs, the back of the knee, If you're treating the head, that's why we have this advice, diba? Like, I think this is very common for Filipinos, wherein they massage this point in
Yes.
between. This is actually an acupuncture point. This is one of the strongest acupuncture points that's used, and it actually helps produce painkillers inside the body. So this is a master point for your head. So when you massage this point, it releases wind. It releases and it opens up and activates the meridians in the head.
Teka lang, Vas, ano sabi mo? It releases what?
Wind.
Wind. Hangin.
It releases wind. So, ang instance kasi, that's why we have pains inside our body. Minsan, like, you know, when you're sweating, you're nahahanginan tayo. You know, we have this influence of cold air entering the body. What happens is the way the body deals with it, it tucks it away somewhere. And wherever it starts to reside, it tends to create blockages and it creates pain or heaviness. So in the instance of, let's say, for example, nahanginan yung likod mo, umakyat sa ulo, you'll feel like this, you know, cold sweats, you'll feel heaviness on the head and masakit ng ulo. So by massaging this point right here, it helps release and move the wind away from its designated spot.
Okay, there you go. Puntahan natin yung mga question natin dito sa text line natin from Michael ng Cubao. Pwede pong pakitanong kung makatutulong ang acupuncture upang maibalik ang who's controlling the prompter? Hello there. Okay, nasa question tayo. Okay. From Michael daw ng Cubao. Okay, so he asked, nandiyan ka ba? Are you listening to me? Okay. Yung tanong ni Micah. Ayan. Okay, so pwede po bang pakitanong kung makatutulong ang acupuncture upang maibalik ang pagmamahal ko sa aking asawa na init-anit ng unti-unti nang nawawala. Wow, it's an emotion there. Huh?
This is an emotional response in particular. So we do have instances of couples who kind of require rekindling, no? So minsan through your marriage stage, minsan madalas na yung away. And nangyayari is the root cause of the rift is minsan si Mrs. ayaw na, si Mr. like game na game pa rin. So hindi nagtutugma yung sexual desire ng dalawa. No? So yung compatibility nila and willingness to, you know, engage in intimacy. So with acupuncture, we do treatments with couples to kind of help them meet each other in the middle. So we do treatments for acupuncture points that will stimulate libido or suppress libido.
So pag nilagyan sila ng needle, biglang game na, ganun ba? Hindi naman.
It will help stimulate in terms of yung yung willness. But if it is more of me away on something else, acupuncture can be very helpful in terms of relaxing like pressures and tensions. But
so
ultimately,
down,
they have to resolve. They have to resolve these. Kailangan pa rin nila pag-usapan yung whatever the problem is that they have.
That's great. So makatutulong daw. Yun ang sagot kay Michael ba yun, na maski na yung pagmamahal sa'yo or attention sa'yo na misis mo, unti-unti nang nawawala. Okay. So I think basically number one, pwede din yung acupuncture dyan para matone down yung mga anxiety ninyo, yung mga away ninyo, and probably that hormone in your body na kailangan din ibaba ng konti at itaas daw ang libido para ma-increase ang inyong sexual drive. Okay. I think we have one more question bago ako mag-break, Havas. From Marilu Sakdala ng Alabang. Makatutulong po ba ang acupuncture para tumalino ang anak ko? Super hindi po kasi mahina sa memorization.
So with children naman, we don't necessarily do acupuncture. We would suggest more of acupressure na lang. Kasi yung mga bata, I don't know how young yung anak mo, no? So if they're below 10 years old, of course, very, very, very fearful pa sila in terms of needles.
So meron palang age to, hindi lahat na age pwede. Especially pag bata, there's like an age bracket.
So with regards to needles though, parang, you know, advice na lang nila is we have alternative stimulations for the acupuncture point. We make use of minsan magnets. So we can use magnets to stimulate the point. So parang gagawin na lang siyang, you stick it on with a Band-Aid or a Mediplast.
Ganon?
Magnet. Point.
So wait, what does the magnet do? May hinihila ba tong force or energy, something para ma-release or?
The magnets will, you know, yung magnetic field niya mismo will draw and stimulate the acupuncture point. itself. So other forms of acupuncture stimulation can be used via laser or infrared as well. So
Okay.
meaning say parang iniinitan. So there's different ways to stimulate, not necessarily through needle insertion itself, but the knowledge required on what points to stimulate is still parang something more of a prescription that has to be given by an acupuncturist, because if you start stimulating points by random, you don't know what you're gonna trigger or cause a response or worsen a condition.
Wait, you mentioned na may prescription. Ibig po bang sabihin nun na, there will be prescribed medicines or something after?
No. It's more of like an acupuncture point needling is something that an acupuncturist will prescribe. So let's say,
Okay.
for example,
Would
if
suggest, yeah.
Kahit alam mo na this is an acupuncture point, this one mismo, no? This one in particular, in terms of, there are contraindications for some acupuncture points in certain conditions. So some conditions would entail if you have high blood pressure and you're stimulating a particular point that will drive more blood into the head. It could make your headache worse.
So pwede din pala sa high blood pressure, mga patients na ganon.
Yes. So there's a wide variety of ailments that acupuncture comes in as a supplementary treatment. So in tandem with medication, acupuncture actually enhances the effectivity of hypertension medicine.
There you go. Okay, balikan natin ang iba pang mga kaalaman tungkol sa acupuncture. Samantala po, muna tayo, a news break and some commercial break, and magbabalik po ang Department of Health pagkaraan ng ilang sandali.
Kasama sina Maru Pahati Sarne at si Bragi Braganza. Kasama ang mga totoong eksperto. DWIZ. DOH. Department of Health.
For high appraisal and quick processing, avail of a City State Savings Bank jewelry loan. It's the handy, perfect solution for your temporary medical, educational, business, and other needs. Get a jewelry loan at only 2% per month and for a term of 6 to 12 months. Just bring one valid ID and proof of income. Your precious jewelry would be insured and there are no hidden charges involved. You've saved for and invested in jewelry for such a time as this. Let City State Savings Bank lend you some of the cash it's worth for when you need it the most. Inquire now at your nearest City State Savings Bank branch or call 8470-3333 or visit us at our Facebook page.
May kaltas pala sa sasahurin ko?
Pare, para sa atin din yan. Gaya ng PhilHealth, mabuting insured ang health ng pamilya natin.
Sa bagay, nung nanganak si Mrs., malaki ang nabawas sa bill ko. Pero, hindi ko naman laging nagagamit eh.
Walang problema doon. Sa contribution natin sa PhilHealth, panatag ka at ang pamilya mo. At marami pa tayong kababayang natutulungan. Gaya ng kapatid kong nagda-dialysis.
Ayos palang PhilHealth, no pre? Sa ambag ng bawat isa, nakikinabang ang maraming pamilya. Yan ang diwa ng bayanihan sa PhilHealth.
Walang sinisino ang sakit. Mahirap o mayaman, maari kang matamaan. Kaya huwag ibaba ang depensa laban sa magastos na gamutan. Siguraduhin updated ang iyong kontribusyon, pati na ang inyong membership record sa PhilHealth.
Ngayong pandemya, alagaan ang kalusugan. Uminom ng 8 hanggang 12 baso ng tubig at regular na mag-ehersisyo. Huwag kalimutang magsuot ng face mask at face shield kung lalabas. At ipatupad ang 1 hanggang 2 metrong distancing. Isang paalala mula sa MX3. Be extraordinary with MX3.
Ako si Candida Canay, pastry chef. Bilib ako sa MX3, kaya ako umiinom ng MX3.
Ako si Jacob Layan, online host. Iba talaga ang alagang MX3. Bilib ako sa MX3, kaya ako'y umiinom ng MX3.
Ako po si Chef George Javier. Life is sweeter with MX3. Bilib ako sa MX3, kaya ako ay umiinom ng MX3.
MX3 is locally recognized, award-winning internationally. Be extraordinary with MX3.
Mahalagang paalala, ang MX3 capsule ay hindi gamot at hindi dapat gamiting panggamot sa anumang uri ng sakit.
Huwag papayag na wala kang alam sa balita. Maiiwan ka niyan. Huwag kang papayag na hindi mo alam ang latest. Ma-out of place ka niyan. Programang hatid ang tamang balita at tamang impormasyon. Hindi lang sa Maynila, kundi sa buong bayan. Ronda Ronda Pilipinas. Pinakabago at pinaka-updated na mga pangyayari ihahatid live. Ronda Pilipinas. Kasama ang gigising sa inaantok mong dugo, si Dennis Antenor Jr. Ronda Pilipinas. Makinig sa buong Pilipinas sa DWIZ Manila hanggang saan mang sulong nationwide sa lahat ng DWIZ local stations sa buong bayan. Watch din ng live sa Aliw 23 at sa Facebook at YouTube ng DWIZ Ronda Pilipinas, Monday to Friday, 10 a.m.
Come on, let's go to Isuzu Jaguars. You won't regret it. Come on, let's go to Isuzu Jaguars. We've got your back. Isuzu Jaguars, your partner through it all. Isuzu Jaguars, Isuzu Jaguars, Isuzu Jaguars. Let's journey together.
Visit Isuzu Gencars Makati, Isuzu Santa Rosa, Isuzu Batangas Santo Tomas, Isuzu Batangas City, Isuzu San Pablo, Isuzu Legazpi, and Isuzu Naga.
Magandang araw po. Ito po si Attorney Ferdy Topacio na nag-aanyaya sa inyo dito sa DWIC 882 AM at live streaming. Mapapakinggan ninyo ako sa programang Yes, Yes, Yo! Topacio! Lunes hanggang Biyernes, nationwide at worldwide. Mga balita, komentaryo, panauhin mula sa politika, showbiz at iba pa. At syempre, may musika at konting intriga. Lahat ng hindi ninyo nakikita, ipakikita ko. Lahat ng nakatago, ilalabas ko dito sa Yes, Yes, Yo! Topacio! Kita-kits! Yeba!
Papalakas ng papalakas, palinaw ng palinaw, mga balita at impormasyong naiintindihan dahil malinaw mong nalaman. Tutok lang sa DWIZ mula umaga hanggang gabi. Updated on air and online. DWIZ, nagbabalita ng tama, naglilingkod ng tama.
Ang balitang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng PhilHealth. DWIZ Balita ngayon!
Inirekomenda na ng Marine Casualty Team ang suspensyon sa mga personnel na humawak sa dokumento ng lumubog na motor tanker Princess Empress. Ito ayon sa Philippine Coast Guard ay dahil sinisilip na ng Department of Transportation ang posibleng pagkukulang ng mga nagpahintulot sa nasabing barko na bumiyahe. Inihayag ni PCG spokesperson Commodore Armand Balilio na nirerespeto nila ang magiging desisyon ng DOTR. Binigyang diin din ni Balilio na simula pa lamang anya ay nagsasagawa na ang PCG ng internal investigation at sinuspinde na ang mga sangkot na tauhan. At para sa karagdagang impormasyon at mas marami pang mga balita, bisitahin kami sa aming website www.dwiz882am.com. Sundan ang aming Twitter account at Facebook page, ang DWIZ. Ako po, si Hano Aladan.
DWIZ Balita ngayon! Ang balitang ito ay inihatid sa inyo ng PhilHealth.
Kasama sina Maru Pahati Sarne at si Bragi Braganza. Kasama ang mga totoong eksperto. DWIZ DOH Department of Health.
Okay, muli po nagbabalik ang Department of Health dito lang po sa DWIZ 882. Naglilingkod ng tama, nagbabalita ng tama. Oh yeah, or it might be the other way around. Nalito na ako dyan. Okay, so balik po tayo sa ating guest ngayon. Kasama natin po ngayon si Vaz Bismarck na busy pero nasingit po niya ang ating programa sa kanyang busy schedule dahil I believe ngayon at until mga 2 o'clock onwards, meron mga pasyente si Vaz sa kanyang clinic. Okay, mamaya tatanungin natin kung saan yung clinic ni Vaz para mapuntahan din ang ating mga listeners at mga tagapanood. Okay, so tatanong ko ngayon Vaz para doon sa mga curious at gusto magpa-acupuncture, para malaman nila na safe sila at ma-ensure yung yung safety and well-being nila bago sila pa-treat sa isang acupuncture or acupuncturist na katulad mo. Meron bang tamang training and certification ba to? So they would know that the acupuncturists have gone through a process or a certification and training na legit na patusok sa isang acupuncturist.
Here in the Philippines, meron tayong tinatawag yung PITAC. So it's under DOH. So may department mismo si DOH that actually sets the guidelines and standards for mga practitioners of acupuncture. So you can actually go to their website and search there yung mga certified nila na mga acupuncturists. So there's so you go through you go to PITAC mismo. So it's the Philippine Institute of Traditional and Alternative Healthcare.
Ulit na, Philippine Institute
of Traditional and Alternative Healthcare.
Traditional and Alternative
Healthcare.
Healthcare. Akala ko medicine.
So,
okay.
So PITAC siya mismo. So PITAC is under DOH. And yung PITAC mismo is the supervising. So supervising body that sets the standards for traditional and alternative healthcare. So this includes naturopathy, acupuncture, for chiropractors. So these are things that you can ask. So if you actually encounter any traditional or alternative healthcare practitioners, you can ask if they're certified by PITAC. And you can see it should usually be displayed in their own clinic. So
so they can see na certified talaga yung, kasi yung iba baka home service, I don't know, baka fake. I think acupuncturists have their own clinic for them to visit, di ba? So pag visit nyo po doon, pwede nyo makita doon naka-display din syempre yung certification nila para malaman ninyo na nag-training talaga ito mga to at sila, legit na mag-acupuncture. Alright. So tatanong ko ngayon, Vas, that ang acupuncture minsan sinasabay siya as a combination sa mga ibang therapy, 'di ba? And sabi nila kasabay din nito minsan yung mga herbal medicine, mga massage, mga physical therapy to improve daw the overall health and well-being. Is this true that acupuncture can be in combination with those things that I have mentioned?
Yes, in terms of overall well-being, acupuncture is used in tandem, more so for parang treating ailments. So when a person is experiencing extreme forms of pain in terms of their physicality, like their back, their shoulders, their knees, yung tendency for most Filipinos is they resort to healing through hilot. So yung hilot, it's our traditional form of healing through massage.
Tsaka sanay ang Pinoy dyan, hilot.
Oo. So nagpapahilot, nagpapamassage yung mga tao. So acupuncture can be used in tandem with this. So you can have your acupuncture session and then you can have your hilot afterwards or within the same day as well. So
pwede.
It's not counterintuitive naman. When it comes to acupuncturists, we do work with doctors, meaning to say, if we end up with patients, we can address, and it is always with the guidance of the doctor whether a patient should or shouldn't actually engage in acupuncture. So when you see an acupuncturist, there's different types of acupuncturists. There's an acupuncturist such as myself. That is not a doctor. Then you actually encounter some acupuncturists who are medical acupuncturists na mismo. So
meron din ganun, medical, ang tawag sa kanila, medical acupuncturist. Wait, hang on. What's the difference between a regular acupuncture guy and a medical acupuncturist?
So the difference is that the medical acupuncturist actually passed also the medical board exam. So they're doctors by practice, and they also have acupuncture skill sets. So in people like us, we're taught simply through the form of acupuncture as well. So meaning to say, I cannot write prescriptions in terms of recommendations for pharmaceutical recommendations. So when I encounter a patient and I know that is beyond my scope of work already, I
You
usually
refer them.
to another specialist, or I refer them to a doctor already, or I work with a doctor and consult in particular if this treatment is still viable for this particular condition.
That's good. I mean, you like acupuncturists and doctors can work hand in hand din pala. Kasi minsan parang, I think, some doctors don't recognize mga, acupuncture itself. Parang, they don't want to believe
There
in
is
that.
still definitely a gap in terms of parang yung communication, because our language is very different in terms of like yung mga traditional Chinese medicine.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to say, like, when we speak about conditions like acupuncturists and traditional Chinese medicine, we talk about like TCM patterns, which is not exactly in the same scope or language as medical doctors. Of what you're used to hearing is like terms like fatty liver, and you're
Yes.
used to hearing things like that, like hypertension. So when you hear acupuncturists discuss in terms of conditions and patterns, we're talking about elements. We're talking about fire, we're talking about earth, we're
True.
talking about wood, water, and metal. And
Yin yang,
parang
yeah.
it's just, we're talking about yin and yang imbalances and things like that. We're talking about meridians and about blockages. So the modalities are translated differently. So yung challenge now really is actually for doctors and acupuncturists to be able to communicate a little bit more smoothly in terms of what patients they're dealing with. No, so some doctors are still not. They have heard of acupuncture, but in terms of what acupuncture can treat, sometimes it's not. Some people are not very familiar with like the full scope of what it can actually do. So in common cases is that if a person doesn't understand the treatment, they usually don't recommend it as well. So definitely there is a lot of education that still needs to be done in the scope of traditional Chinese medicine and also
Yeah.
acupuncture.
Okay, there. Wait, we have a question here from Santos Sambajo ng Divisoria. Sabi niya, kahit sino po ba pwedeng maging acupuncturist, since we're talking about, the acupuncturist itself and the medical acupuncturist and the people who wanted to probably do the practice of being an acupuncturist. Maski sino ba pwede dito?
Yes, if you are willing to undergo training and study and do the necessary practice and put in the necessary hours
Mhm.
and learn from a accredited like training center, then yes, you can become an acupuncturist. Just as the same way na anybody can become a doctor. Pero whether you can pass the bar or the medical board is a different storyline. So to aspire to become an acupuncturist, anybody can aspire to become an acupuncturist.
Yon. Okay, mali mo.
Necessary lang yung training, of course. The practice.
Mahirap ba ang training, Vas? I mean, how long does it take for you to get through all of these things, the mga the exam, the actual performance of piercing the karayom to the skin of the body?
The acupuncture modules itself, it's around mga 2 years. You go through.
2 years.
So it takes about mga 2 years to go through in terms of content and also practical.
Matagal din pala, no? Oo. Malay mo may na-inspire ka na dyan na nakikinig ngayon who wanted to probably get into acupuncture. Oo. That's great. Okay.
In other countries kasi, sa Philippines, medyo bali-bali pa yung natin yung traditional Chinese medicine. So nakabukod pa yung iba. So in other countries, you can actually become a doctor in TCM. So
Doctor in
traditional Chinese medicine.
Traditional Chinese medicine.
Yung mga diplomas nila, it covers the full scope already. Meaning to say you have a background in Chinese herbs, you have a background in Chinese exercises like Tai Chi Qigong, and then you also have a background in acupuncture. So parang, and then also the studies of the biomedical readings in terms of diagnostics. So that's kind of like their full course. Here in the Philippines, medyo naka-separate pa siya yung parang yung
it doesn't come in as one course, parang ganon.
parang from them they already like put it all in so that takes about 5 years.
Mas
But
mahaba na.
acupuncture on its so acupuncture on its own, if you want to be an acupuncturist, you can become an acupuncturist like dun nga sa span ng studying for about 2 years.
2 years yan. Okay, marami pa tayong mga katanungan para kay Vas. Pero bago natin sila itanong sa ating guest, okay, alamin muna natin ang mga homemade drinks na nakaka-cure sa fatty liver sa ating portion na tinatawag nating kitchen medicine.
Mga gamot na within your reach sa Kitchen Medicine.
Homemade drinks that naturally cure fatty liver disease? Alamin. Ang atay ay isa sa pinakamahalagang organ ng ating katawan. Ito ay may mahalagang papel sa detoxification ng waste, nutrient regulation, enzymes at higit pa. Ang atay din ang namamahala sa secreting bile juice na tumutulong sa panunaw at metabolism. Ito ang dahilan kung bakit ang wastong pangangalaga sa atay ay mahalaga para sa pagpapanatili ng overall health. Bagamat ang fat quantity sa atay ay minimal, ang ilang pagbabago sa pamumuhay ay maaaring mag-ambag sa hindi pangkaraniwang fat accumulation sa atay. Nasa kalaunan ay maaaring magkaroon ng epekto sa kalusugan, kabilang na ang liver damage. Gaya na lamang na labis na pag-iinom ng alak, hindi regular na pag-eehersisyo, pagkain ng mga junk food, mamantika at maaanghang na pagkain, paninigarilyo at hindi umiinom ng sapat na tubig. Ang fatty liver ay isang kondisyon kung saan mayroong labis na fat accumulation sa loob ng hepatic liver cells. Ang labis na taba ay maaaring maging sanhi ng pamamaga sa atay at maaaring magdulot ng pinsala dito at lumilikha ng scarring. Ikaw ba ay nagdurusa sa fatty liver disease? Pakinggan ang easily made drinks na ito para goodbye fatty liver ka na. Isa na riyan ng turmeric tea. Mayaman ito sa antioxidants. Ang turmeric tea ay maaaring makatulong sa sirkulasyon ng dugo at nagpro-promote ng overall liver health. Ang pagkonsumo ng turmeric tea ay mahusay din para sa overall health. Maaari ka ring uminom ng green tea, isang mahusay na elixir para sa lahat ng mga dumaranas ng fatty liver disease. Ang green tea ay puno ng catechin, isang malakas na antioxidant na maaaring makapigil sa pagdami ng cancer cells. At syempre, pwede ka ring uminom ng kape. Ayon sa mga eksperto, ang pag-inom ng kape ay makakatulong sa pagpapababa ng risk na magkaroon ng malalang sakit sa atay at fatty liver disease. Ang fatty liver ay tinatawag ding hepatic steatosis at nangyayari ito kapag mas maraming taba ang naipon sa atay. At panghuli, apple cider vinegar o ACV ay isang sure shot na natural na lunas upang pagalingin ang fatty liver. Ang hindi kapani-paniwalang mga pagkilos ng detoxification ng ACV ay gumagana upang maalis ang mga nakakapinsalang lason mula sa atay na humahad lang sa mga normal function nito. Ibinunyag ng mga pag-aaral na ang regular na pag-inom ng ACV ay nagtataguyod ng pagbaba ng timbang, nagpapababa ng level ng kolesterol, nagpapababa din ng pamamaga at nagpapasigla sa pangkalahatang kalusugan ng atay. Ang mga pagbabago sa lifestyle at pagjeta ay kasalukuyang pinaka-epektibong opsyon para sa pangangalaga ng ating liver. Kaya naman, eat healthy mga ka-kitchen medicine.
Mga gamot na within your reach sa Kitchen Medicine. Kasama sina Maru Pahati Sarne at si Bragi Braganza. Kasama ang mga totoong eksperto. DWIZ, DOH, Department of Health.
Narito na ang Filipino Mirror, ang unang tabloid sa negosyo. Nagtatampo ng mga eksklusibong balita at impormasyon ng pagtatagumpay sa negosyo. Ang tabloid na nagbibigay ng gabay at inspirasyon sa pag-unlad at pag-asenso. Filipino Mirror, naglalaman ng mga nagbabagang balita, napapanahong issue, may init na opinyon at komentaryo. Filipino Mirror, ang unang tabloid sa negosyo. Pinarangalan ng Gawad Tanglaw bilang natatanging pahayagan sa 3 magkakasunod na taon at marami pang pagkilala. Kaya bumili na at magbasa ng Filipino Mirror ng umasenso sa pagnenegosyo. Ngayong pandemya, alagaan ang kalusugan. Uminom ng 8 hanggang 12 baso ng tubig at regular na mag-ehersisyo. Huwag kalimutang magsuot ng face mask at face shield kung lalabas. At ipatupad ang 1 hanggang 2 metrong distancing. Isang paalala mula sa MX3. Be extraordinary with MX3.
Ako po si Captain Boyet Toledo, naninilbihan bilang Air Ambulance Pilot. Sa aking profesyon, mahalaga sa akin ang MX3. Buong araw, pag may flight ka, nasa cockpit ka nakaupo. Importante sa akin ang presence of mind at kondisyon ng katawan para maging ligtas ang bawat operation at flight. 100% ng aking ginagawang pangangalaga sa aking katawan through exercise and healthy diet. Kasama dyan ang pag-inom ng MX3 capsule araw-araw. I trust MX3. Ako po si Captain Boyet Toledo. Bilib ako sa MX3, kaya ako umiinom ng MX3.
Mahalagang paalala, ang MX3 ay hindi gamot at hindi dapat gamiting panggamot sa anumang uri ng sakit.
For high appraisal and quick processing, avail of a City State Savings Bank jewelry loan. It's the handy, perfect solution for your temporary medical, educational, business, and other needs. Get a jewelry loan at only 2% per month and for a term of 6 to 12 months. Just bring one valid ID and proof of income. Your precious jewelry would be insured and there are no hidden charges involved. You've saved for and invested in jewelry for such a time as this. Let City State Savings Bank lend you some of the cash it's worth for when you need it the most. Inquire now at your nearest City State Savings Bank branch or call 8470-3333 or visit us at our Facebook page.
Balita at impormasyon magkasama, magkasangka. Doble paglilingkod ng tamang balita at tamang impormasyon. Dapat talaga nakatandem na to. Makinig ng live sa DWIZ. Naka-live din sa DWIZ. Regional Integrated News. Panoorin ang live sa Aliw 23 at i-follow na sa social media. DWIZ, Facebook at YouTube. Tandem nina David at John. David Oro at John Ibanez. Magkakambal na pagseserbisyo sa bayan. Hatid ang mga balita na bagong-bago. Hindi OA. Diretsahang pagbibigay ng kailangang impormasyon sa bayan. Tandem nina David at John. Hatid ng nagbabalita ng tama. Naglilingkod ng tama. DWIZ. Monday to Friday, 6 a.m.
Sa gitna ng pandemya, palakasin ang resistensya. Siguraduhin ang 7 hanggang 8 oras na tulog. Kumain ng masustansya at manalangin. Isang paalala mula sa MX3. Be extraordinary with MX3.
Hi, I'm Sonia Pascual, Marketing Director and CrossFit Coach and Athlete. Sa sobrang dami kong ginagawa, I'm putting myself under a lot of stress. Kaya along with proper diet and regular exercise, I take time to rest. Dagdag ang MX3 capsule daily. Ang MX3, part na ng team ko. Alaga ka.
Mahalagang paalala, ang MX3 capsule ay hindi gamot at hindi dapat gamiting panggamot sa anumang uri ng sakit.
Come on, let's go to Isuzu Jaguars. You won't regret it. Come on, let's go to Isuzu Jaguars. We've got your back. Isuzu Jaguars, your partner through it all. Isuzu Jaguars, Isuzu Jaguars, Isuzu Jaguars. Let's journey together.
Visit Isuzu Gencars Makati, Isuzu Santa Rosa, Isuzu Batangas Santo Tomas, Isuzu Batangas City, Isuzu San Pablo, Isuzu Legazpi, and Isuzu Naga.
Kasama sina Maru Pahati Sarne at si Bragi Braganza. Kasama ang mga totoong eksperto. DWIZ, DOH, Department of Health.
Okay, magandang hapon po muli sa kanila lahat. Para to sa mga kaka-tune in pa lang, ito po yung Department of Health. At ang topic po natin ngayon kasama si Vas Bismarck ay tungkol sa acupuncture. So recap lang po tayo. Ang acupuncture po is a form of alternative medicine that involves inserting thin needles para sa mga specific points of the body po na magsistimulate ng flow ng energy or chi. Ang traditional Chinese medicine claims that acupuncture can cure many conditions. Ito na po yung mga tinanong ninyo kanina. May mga anxiety, mga depression, depression, digestive disorders, infertility, headache at marami pang iba. Kasama din pala dyan ng blood pressure. Pero ang effectivity daw nito, safety ang acupuncture as a medical treatment. Ito daw, still debated pa to ng mga medical professionals. Vas, bakit daw ganun? Ang sabi nila yung acupuncture daw as a medical treatment are still being debated. So parang, does this mean na hindi sila naniniwala or feeling nila sila yung medyo superior being than the acupuncturist? What do you think about that?
The debate still goes on because it's always evidence-based. And with most, there are still mga clinical trials that are conducted. So if you want to go see the effectivity on what is accepted by the medical field, there's many trials already that have been conducted in terms of pain management. So when it comes to pain management, acupuncture still has been proven one of the most effective forms of pain management. When it comes to other forms of illnesses, there are still kind of like, a lot of factors. Let's say, for example, specifically for cases like treating diabetes or the impact of acupuncture with someone who's diabetic, like, there are still studies that are still ongoing. So for the Western medicine as well, they are still also even trying to prove the existence of the meridians itself in the physical body. So parang there is a lot of
pinag-uusapan pa and mahaba pa yan. Marami pang studies na mapoprove that these kind of illnesses can probably be cured by acupuncture soon in the near future, 'di ba? Pero ngayon meron na silang nakaklaim that these things that we mentioned kanina ay naku-cure na din po ng acupuncture. Ang tanong ko din, Vas pala, meron bang bawan ng mga pagkain o mga inumin during or in between acupuncture sessions? Meron ba mga bawal na food, mga soft drinks, or I don't know, during these sessions?
Before you come to a session, sabi nila, if you're gonna have your acupuncture treatment, make sure that you have already eaten. Meaning to say, nakakain ka na.
May laman ng tiyan, gano'n.
Don't go to an acupuncture session, walang laman yung tiyan mo. Because it may cause dizziness or fainting. So parang yung dugo mo might
paano ako minsan nagpupunta ako magpa-acupuncture bagong gising. So I will go back to sleep para gano'n.
Sabi nila is just don't do acupuncture when you're hungry. That's case point. So parang that's one of the indications that we say. Wala naman bawal in terms of just don't go hungry and don't go when busog na busog tas right after you.
Wag naman yan.
So parang that's another indication as well. So those are just the two things before coming to an acupuncture session.
All right, there you go.
And then
sige.
Yung after is
nga pala, anong gagawin after?
Yung after usually is the common thing that you'll always hear me say is don't drink cold water or don't take a shower or get wet right after an acupuncture session for at least 4 hours.
Bakit mawawalan ba ng bisa pag uminom ng malamig?
There are things that interrupts the flow of qi. So pag nagpa-acupuncture ka kasi, parang rini-reset natin yung flow ng qi. Ngayon, when you introduce cold water, it has a tendency to shock the system and disrupt whatever the treatment that we actually did. So it may cause harm by causing parang disruptions in terms of the flow. And we don't know what precise manifestations may happen. In some cases, na experience ng tao that forgot, this feeling nila parang nabubog sila the following day. Or parang there's heaviness, there's soreness somewhere. And yung iba, they feel chills or parang linagdat after.
So wag ka na lang uminom ng malamig na tubig after ka magpa-acupuncture. Okay, may last question tayo dito. Ang bilis na oras natin. Sabi ni Arnold, Ana Lu Martinez ng Blumentritt, kaya po bang magamot ng acupuncture ang medyo manipis na buhok? Siguro yes or no na lang to.
No.
No. Sige. So ayan, Ana Lu. Okay, I think it could be you or your husband na nagtatanong dyan para kung numinipis yung buhok, kung magagamot ng acupuncture, no daw. Okay, so Vas, thank you very much for being a part of our program, Department of Health. Ayan, pangalawang guesting na po to ni Vas dito sa atin and I'm sure yung mga iba interesado pa rin sa pagtatry ng acupuncture para mabigyan ng lunas yung kanilang mga pakiramdam dyan kung ano man yan. So, Vas, promote ka naman sa kanila mapupuntahan your social media platforms and your address, probably your clinic.
So you can just follow me on my socials. So it's Vas Bismarck on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So there's that. And my clinic is in Cityland Tower, Shaw Boulevard.
All right.
So,
There you go. Malapit lang dito. Anong oras ka na dyan?
So I'm here from I'm doing clinic from 10 a.m. until 7 p.m. So from Monday to Saturday.
Monday to Saturday.
So I do have a booking link on my Facebook. So if you would like to book a schedule, my treatments are strictly by appointment only.
Hindi pwedeng walk-in.
Better to message before you come to make sure that I am in the clinic, because there are times na when I do free up a day or I'm doing something else, like running to another interview.
Ano yung something na yan? Yeah.
So like this one, I may be busy.
Oo nga,
So
biglaan
please
to.
text me muna para at least we don't waste each other's time.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. Vas Bismarck, isang acupuncturist. Live po natin na guest dito sa Department of Health. Thank you very much, Vas. We hope to see you again soon. And thank you very much po doon sa lahat ng nakinig at nanood. Yung mga nag-send din ng questions sila. Thank you very much po. And you can also follow our page po na Department of Health para mapanood po ninyo yung mga past episodes natin and yung mga incoming episodes as well. Okay, susunod na programa po natin. See you, Vas. Thank you very much. And coming up next, we have In the Heart of Business.
May tanong ka ba sa kalusugan mo? Marami ka na bang nakakausap na nagsasabing baka malala na ang sakit mo? May mga nalalaman ka ba sa social media na pareha sa nararamdaman mo at ngayon malala na ang sakit nila? Naku, ang dami nang namamatay sa maling akala. Eksperto dapat ang pinakikinggan mo. Tutukan ang DWIZ Manila at lahat ng DWIZ sa buong Pilipinas kasama ang social media ng DWIZ at manood syempre sa Aliw 23 Free TV. Manood, makinig at i-follow ang DOH Department of Health. Programang malaking help sa health kasama sina